Hi, welcome to Scotty Wandering. Today's video is all about how to use Wisconsin Going to Camp to book your site in Wisconsin State Parks and Wisconsin State Forest in those wonderful hundreds of campgrounds around the state. And by hundreds of sites, I mean it. These are the state park, state forest campgrounds that I have visited over the past couple of years, as well as the national forest campgrounds as well. I'm not going to cover those because the National Forest would be booked through recreation.gov, but as if you watch my videos, you'll find out most of those sites are first come, first serve, and many of those campgrounds aren't even on recreation.gov. But Wisconsin State Forest and State Parks are all reserved sites. You have to reserve them online. There's nothing that can be done on site. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Peter, and like I said, this is Scotty Wandering, and I have wandered Wisconsin. All these little flags on the map here are the state parks and state forests where I have explored the campgrounds and done full video tours, either drive-through or most recently, a lot of them walking tours to show you what every site in those campgrounds looks like. So you can pick your perfect site. Now, if you want to pick that perfect site and actually reserve it, that's what this video is about. We're going to walk you through how to use the Wisconsin State Park reservation system, wisconsin.goingtocamp.com, and briefly show you that once we get through all the options on there, and we'll show it on the computer, you can do the same thing on the app now, and I'll show you why it's great to have the app and book last minute too. So let's get started on our description and tutorial of how to use their website. Now, when you're looking for the site, you can look for the Wisconsin DNR, look at their site, and you'll get information. You can, maybe not the most direct way, but you can search around here. You'll find parks, which leads you to another level. You can search by a particular park if you want, looking for camping information and reservations, and that takes you to another level where you got to do a little more digging around. But if you need detailed information, there might be some great information for you here if you're new to camping in Wisconsin. And then you go to camping reservations. Now, this is not really the site you want to be at. It's the same reservation system, but the simple way is to go to wisconsin.goingtocamp.com, and that takes you directly to the reservation system. Now, when you're here, you can look around, poke around a little bit here, and most importantly, you are going to need that Wisconsin State Park admission pass. Your camping fee does not include vehicle admission. You need one of those for every vehicle you bring in with you. The next thing you want to do is sign in. If you do not have an account, make one. Once you do, sign in, because if you go through the process of finding that perfect site, trying to book it, and then find out you're not signed in, you got to back out and start all over again. So sign in, make an account. It's the first thing you want to do. All right, once you're in, you can start thinking about booking a reservation. Pick your dates right up front. I'm going to challenge myself and pick some very popular dates in here. Well, actually, not as popular, but something where there's a good chance of finding a site. I'm specifically looking forward to see what happens out here in Newport. Newport is a tent-only campground. So as I'm poking around here, I'm realizing that I didn't set everything up right. It says I need 2 nights stay at this site, and my choice of tent isn't right. It's a backpacker site. So I need to extend that out. Let's go over the 11th through the 12th now and search no longer just a tent site. Now when I go there and look at Newport, see it's green now. I'll look at that, and hey, I can now pick this site that I wasn't able to pick before. So sometimes what your settings are may throw you off. See, it says down here that triangle is a diamond is a walk-in or boat to campsite. Now, is it both? You think it's on the water. Maybe it's a both. Let's try it as a boat-in site. Check again. Look at the exact same site and the same dates. And now it's not available. Why is it not available? Well, if I click on it, on that particular site again, it's going to show me, try again. Now I have showing the restriction. It is not a boat-in campsite. It's just a backpacker's campsite. Now say you have a big rig and you want to make sure you're going to fit in here. Well, we can easily pick over here a larger trailer. So let's go up to 45 feet of a trailer and see what kind of sites it shows us. So now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go to one of my favorite sites down here, down to Wyalusing and the Badger Ridge, Wisconsin Ridge campground. Now, as you'll see here, all of them are excluded except for one. That is based because it was just too big. Now, if we try as a pop-up camper in the same site and the same date, we're going to get a different result. Almost all of them are available to us except some of these on the back side of the campground. And those are because those are tiny sites. And if you look here, it tells us as we scroll down, the maximum length at that site is 14 feet. Now you might be able to put your pop-up next to your car there and make it work, but leave that for the tenters. That's really what those sites are for. All right, now we're going to try to take that pop-up camper in a different date range here to someplace else. And let's see what happens. Now, pop-up, search for that. Now, I'm going to try something, a unique campground in Wisconsin is Bigfoot Beach State Park. It's a little different than the others in the way things lay out. There's this campground up here in this section, and then there's a lower section. This lower section is blocked out. It's orange. It says I can't use that. The green section, I have sites up here I can use. So in that area, I have lots of sites to choose from for this little pop-up. Electric, non-electric, either ones work. They all work for me up there. But why is it not working? Let's change it to tent or truck camper. And it doesn't really change anything for me in this location. So the length wasn't the issue. It's the kind of sites. Now these sites down here are all tent walk-in sites, not backpacking sites, walk-in sites. You don't get to park and camp in the same place. So if I change this over to tents and I search there again, now you'll see up here or down there, I can book a site in with a tent in any of those. Now those two restricted up there, I believe those are campground host sites. That's why we can't go there. But you can see now I have all these other sites available. And I could drop a tent up here too, but you feel a little lost up there, but you would have all your stuff with you. You don't have to carry it in. It's a little more convenient. And you could have electric if you wanted. That one is restricted because half the dates aren't available for me. That's why it won't let me have those purple ones. That's part of that key down below. Now, let's try something else. Let's get nuts here and see what happens if we try to book right before and into the 4th of July. Here in January, we can book 11 months out and see what happens. Now for the tenting, all the sites are still available. Nobody's booked a site for tenting yet on the July 4th week. Now if we check the upper section where RVs stay, that's usually the RV section, a lot more of those are booked or partially booked for the time we've requested. So there are a little more limitations, but if you just want a tent, you have a great chance of getting sites almost anywhere. And now let's search all over and change this to what I want to travel, or a medium-sized travel trailer, 20 foot long. And see what's available on July 4th weekend, or week in this case, I should say. So let's go check out a popular one, Point Beach State Park. see what's available there on a holiday week, several months ahead. It's thinned out. There's not as many available and probably won't last much longer. Let's check the other section in there, since there's two sections of campground. And this section, well, part of the restrictions here are a lot of these little sites that are orange are tiny and hard to get into, and they do not let anything more than like a pop-up or a teardrop in. That 20 foot is too much for those sites. So for tenting, they'd probably be okay. Now, we can see I can back up here. I can go just back to the northeast here and not have to go all the way back out. And now check another section. So we're going to stay, let's go all the way back now to the whole state and check. Let's Tricolor Andre here. Now, this is one of the most popular. It's like trying to book at Devil's Lake right now. You can see up top is purple. There are no sites that are fully available up there. They're all taken, so we have to go to the next section down. There's only a couple left that'll fit a 20-foot trailer that are available. And the same thing down here, couple left. None of them have electric. They're all non-electric sites, because the electric ones get nabbed first by those people who are traveling all the time in their RVs. Back up to the family campground again and check that last section down below, and you'll see there's a few more sites. It's interesting how people kind of work their way out, but again, these are non-electric and a little more remote, and that's really a nice section. Now we're going to look at the state forest sites instead this time. So I'm still looking at all parks. I've got a travel trailer up to 20 feet, and the state forests are down in the Kettle Moraine or up in American Legion National State Forest. So if we take a look at these in the Kettle Moraine, the site numbers seem a little weird. So we're going to look at Long Lake here first, and Mothy Lake in this northern unit of the Kettle Moraine. And you'll see the site number groupings are kind of bizarre. There's 600s, 700s, 800s, 900s there. They're grouped by the entire set of Kettle Moraine from the 100s through the 900s. So if I look down here, we've got the 200s and through 500s and 500s through, well, whatever, the 100s through. So it does give us a variety of sites, and the numbering is based on that entire section of the Kettle Moraine northern unit. It isn't just by the Mothy area or Long Lake section. Now, this is much more obvious when you go up north into the Northern Highland American Legion State Forest, where you have a lot more campgrounds. And they're individual campgrounds all over the place. And these are broken into the southern unit and the northern unit of campgrounds. And you have to kind of know which one you're shooting for. There's not a lot in the southern unit. Most of them are in the northern unit. But you can see, as in this one, these are in the thousands in this loop, 1,100. So this is the 1,100 loop in that particular campground. Over here, very small group. This is the 100 group. So this is like the first one they had, they numbered. So that it kind of explains some of this numbering system in the state forests. And because I had that camper, I don't have access to several of those sites because I had the 20-footer. Now let's take another look around here. Buffalo Lake. We are now way out there in crazy numbers, that upper 2000s. So that's just kind of crazy how many groupings of sites there are in the American Legion State Forest. Now let's take another look down here in the northern unit, up here I should say. Again, I am looking at the July 4th weekend or July 4th week here to see what I can find in January. Things will change. Every site in the system is reservable. And as you can see, Firefly Lake is already booked. I can't get a site for those dates I chose. But in these other ones, up here in Muskie Lake, not a lot of options, but there are some. None of the waterfront ones are available, but there are plenty of other sites that you can choose from. And they're all big sites. So there's no restrictions. None of those orange here because my 20-footer won't fit. Everything fits into this campground. I could be popping up at the longest trailers and they would fit. It seems kind of crazy when you come in here with a tent. You seem lost in this place. Backing up a little bit. We're going to take a look at the South Campground. Now, again, we're looking in July 4th weekend. Now, this particular loop, I talked to some people there last year. I was there just after the July 4th. And there's a family that books that entire loop every year for 2 weeks ahead. And that particular site right there, tree fell in it while they were there, just missed the tent. Now let's take a look at when you don't have things set up quite right. So I'm again looking at the July 4th week. I'm saying tents, backpack sites rather than campsites. And I'm looking for green. If I don't see green, there's a problem. There's something wrong with my reservation. So I'm going to take a look in North Campgrounds, North Trout Lake, look at that. And if I click on a site, it's going to tell me what my problem is here. It says I have to make a change. The dates are not available, as well as this is not a backpack site. You need to change it to a campsite or search somewhere else. So I'm going to search somewhere else. So now I'll try Newport, which I know is it a backpack site? And yes, that is considered a backpack site. Tried the boat in. Let's try the boat in. Search for that. We're going to start over. Now this, see the greens? These are boat in sites only. So as I dig in here, I'm going to find this campground over, where is that one? Scroll down, take a look at this one. This particular lake has 4 campsites, all boat in only. So when I click on those, because I chose boat in, you can see a picture of the site, what it looks like. That gives you some idea, but not a lot, because not all of them are covered out here. So that would be a boat-in only site. Look at all parks again for boat-in sites, see what comes up. Now you can see I have none in the southern part of the country and state, only in the northern part. So I change it back to backpack. I have to re-hit search. Now you can see I have backpack sites in all of the sections of the state. Now, I'm going to change that to still tents, but a campsite. And that's going to give me some different options here. So it's just tent sites. Now, we're going to go Nelson Dewey and look at a specific site that I like. The lettered sites out here on the edge of the ridge. So if you look at campsite A, as you can see in the pictures up top, let's take a look at those. This thing is hanging out on the edge of the world. We are on the edge of a bluff out there. And these are considered tent-only sites. And you can also see that it actually gives you a description down below on the right of the site and what walking in is. And it's only $15 a night. Pretty cheap sites, beautiful views. And hey, it's even available on July 4th right now. Maybe not by the time you get to it. Now, if I change it to truck camper, basically what I have is a van, it's not going to give me those sites. Those sites are not available to me because I have the wrong equipment for those sites. If I come over here, looks like it might be the same, but no, these are not hanging out on the edge. You don't have to walk into them. So what equipment you choose, the system will thin out what sites you can look at without specifically filtering. All right, now what happens if you actually use the filters here? We have sort of been filtering things, but there are other filters available. So I can say, do I want a double site or not? No, I don't want it to even look at the double sites. Do I want pets allowed? Do I want waterfront? Yes, of course, everybody wants waterfront. Let's see what kind of waterfront's available. There's also these other options, back in, drive, pull through, things like that, that'll help you find the site that makes your camping experience the best for you. Electric, non-electric. So let's check these out. See what happens when I go for waterfront. I'm still looking here in that July 4th week. Let's take a look down here in southwestern Wisconsin. Again, I'm going to look at Wyalusing at the Wisconsin Ridge Campground. And as you can see, Waterfront is the only one that's available during that week, is this one way down on the end. What they call waterfront is water view. You are on a bluff several hundred feet above the water along the Wisconsin and Mississippi River here. So waterfront is subjective. And it's like I said, there's only the one site right now if you wanted true waterfront in that campground. Let's go look around, see if we can find another waterfront site somewhere, or what they may not call waterfront. Let's change the dates to make this a little more likely we're going to find sites. So I like midweeks, always better chance of finding sites. Still nothing in the southwest. None of those sites are waterfront. Even if you're at Heritage Beach or Color Andre, none of the sites are actually on the water. Let's go take a look up in the northeast section. We'll find a few more waterfront sites here. Let's go check the Peshtigo River, Governor Earl up here. There are some sites along the river, Peshtigo River. And you can see right now there are 3 sites available that are waterfront, and I would truly call those waterfront sites. This happens to be one campground I have yet to get to, so I do not have a video tour of this campground. So those pictures on the site are the best you're going to get to tell you what it's like. Going back up in the northeast, let's take a look up here. See what they call waterfront camping, and that's available at this time. Let's pick. Okay, well, there's none available in that cluster. I know. Let's go East Star Lake. East Star Lake has these wonderful little sites down here, but they're not available. Oh, they're not available because of a restriction. I have chosen the wrong option. I'm under truck camper and the dates are fine, but I need to change it. See, I'm double sites. No, not electric. None of those things are my problem. But I want waterfront. But it's because I'm under truck camper and not tents for walk-in sites. You can't drive to these sites. So if I look again, got to go all the way through the process. Not the south. I meant the north. Let's do that again. Back up. Let's look at the north. And then go to East Star Lake and check those sites. Now those walk-in sites on the waterfront are available. And they're available. They weren't available before because I had chosen the wrong piece of equipment to go there. And you can see those truly are waterfront. I did see some snakes when I was there, when I checked it out before. Let's see what other waterfront sites we can find. Now here, as you can see, the red means they are basically booked. It's not that I have it wrong. That date is wrong, so I can't get waterfront there. Now if I change my dates, let's go a little further out in the year and check again. Gotta dig back. Work my way back to Muskie Lake. And look, hey, there's even a waterfront available in that one now. Again, huge sites. Well, now that I've shown you how to work through it all on a computer, hey, it's available on an app now. And almost all the same functionality is available on the app. And It is great when you're traveling. So you can pick your dates, you can pick your equipment, all of that. So if I was to say, pick a date next week and try to book out to one of my favorite spots on the Wisconsin Ridge campground here. Let's go down there to Wyalusing. And you can zoom in and pinch in and things like that. So this is all phone pinching and zooming. It's pretty easy. Click on the campground in Wisconsin Ridge. Look at all the sites that are available. If I want electric, that's that one because it's winter. I'm going to need to have some heat. Pick that. I got 2 nights. I'm going to reserve it. And go through, click OK, accept, confirm the reservation, and look at the reservation fee. So this was not the cheapest reservation. Now, if you were booking a $15 a night site and you got hit with that reservation fee, that's a lot. Let's go back. Let's look at this like, hey, I'm traveling by and I'm there right now and I want to book it. What happens if I say, oh, well, okay, I booked it backwards here. Let's try it. January, the end of January here where it actually is. Book that site. Well, now we got to go back through the system. Go to Wyalusing. Pick Wisconsin Ridge. Again, plenty of sites available. I can still pick the exact same site I did. No, it's taken. So I'm going to have to take one on the other side that doesn't have the view and still have electric. I'm going to reserve that. Double check your equipment. Click continue. Make sure you're confirming all that. Look, the reservation fee is gone. Big savings. If you book the day of and into a couple days ahead, you are not paying your reservation fee anymore. And that's why this app is fabulous to save you money when you're traveling. So now that you've seen what you can do with this reservation system and the new app, which allows you to do book at last minute, go online, go to YouTube, check out all my videos to pick the perfect site for you and your equipment and your experiences you would like to have. You can book up to 11 months in advance on the Wisconsin State Park system. Take advantage of that if you can plan that far ahead, or use the app for those last minute deals and grab a site where you can. Thanks for coming along on this journey. Get on out there. I'll see you in the next one, and watch out for deer.